Hello, everybody who is viewing from home. Thank you for attending our Reimagining Retirement series. My name is Katie Gleddy-Syan. I am the director here at McFarland Senior Outreach, and I am so happy you're joining us for our presentation about the McFarland Community Garden and their partnership with the McFarland Food Pantry. We have a volunteer from the community who is going to be presenting to us today about this partnership. Allison Sitte has been involved, Allison Sitte, has been involved with the community garden for many years, I believe since the first inaugural season, which was in 2013, I believe. And as the garden has grown, she has taken on the responsibility for our food pantry garden plot. And they have, through the years, donated thousands of pounds of produce to the McFarland Food Pantry. And I am so pleased to have Allison here, and she can share about how that is all developed and works, and how, if you might be interested in getting involved in the McFarland Community Garden, how you can do that too. So thank you, Allison. Come on up.
Thank you, Katie, and everyone. Again, my name is Allison Sitte. I have lived in McFarland for 22, 23 years. As Katie mentioned, I did get involved with the garden in 2013 when we first opened. And so I'm going to go over kind of high level of the garden, and hopefully you can learn a little bit. And please know that we love new gardeners. We love people to get involved. And so at the end, I'll have some websites that if anyone has any interest, you can please reach out. So Community Garden 2026. Here is our basically our concept of the garden. Families and gardeners growing food together, outreach to food banks, things like that, and then education. Our primary school used to have some plots there. Unfortunately, we do not right now, but hopefully we can get those back. Our 4-H, our Girl Scouts have a plot that grew some amazing things last year. I want to start by saying the garden's around because of Katie. She was the originator. She's probably going to hate me for this, but I do want to recognize that because there was a spot that was available. She saw that, she had some vision, and it's there because of Katie. I'm going to show this map a few different times as we kind of come back to things. The land is actually owned by the United Church of Christ. They lease it to the village of McFarland as a park. It is managed by the McFarland Community Garden, which we are a member of the Friends of McFarland Parks, which is a 501c3 organization. Everyone at the garden is a volunteer. No one is paid at all, anything. So again, I'm gonna revisit this several times, but let me tell you a little bit about the garden. Our new sign, we have 10 by 20 and 20 by 20 food plots that are available along with raised beds. Cost is on a sliding scale, depending on your income and your household membership. I do want to stress that we have financial assistance. We've got some, recently had some great people step up, and we're going to be doing some more fundraising so we can help people out who maybe can't. Prices are not high, but you know, everybody needs a hand once in a while, and it's there, and we want to use it. We want people to use it. We don't want to inhibit anyone from having a raised bed or a plot because of the cost. Again, I'm going to revisit this. Some of the shared spaces in our garden. We have a raspberry bed. We have a rhubarb. We've got a couple pollinator gardens, both our ornamental garden and our butterfly garden. We have raised beds. It does say 2. We did add a new one last year, so we have 3. We have cherry, apple, pear, and plum trees along our side, and we've got one in the middle that we get quite a few cherries from, actually, and they're very good. We have our youth 4-H garden. I guess it's not It's the next to Katie's shed up there. Actually, it's a couple plots, 60 and 58, I believe, where our 4-H has been active there for many, many years. Again, I mentioned our butterfly conservation garden and our community space, which last year we used for a pumpkin patch. It used to be the school gardens, but lots of volunteers came together, rototilled, planted a bunch of squash, pumpkins. We had lots of things to give away last year. This is an example of a 20 by 20 plot. That is my husband. He'll hate me for that. Getting started early. Again, 10 by 10 or 10 by 20 plots and 20 by 20 plots, depending on what you would like. Our first year gardeners, we ask that they start with a 10 by 20. So, they would know what they're getting into before they enlarge. Some of our raised beds, we are replacing a few of them. They're getting a little old, but that's on the schedule, so we try and keep those up. Our raised bed area is right towards the street, so it's convenient parking if you have mobility problems. We have a compost bin there. There's water there. Here's Katie's shed, which we dedicated last year. This shed contains everything you could probably need for the garden, which is a great asset. You don't have to bring shovels. You don't have to bring rakes. We've got lots of tools. We've got a first aid kit. We've got, and our volunteers work really, really hard every spring to clean that out and keep everything nice and clean and organized. We have organic fertilizer in there people can use. So everything you would need, you don't have to bring anything. We do have irrigation. We do not allow overhead sprinklers. You have to attend to the hoses. We have some folks that use soaker hoses. They come to the garden and want to relax a little bit. They turn their soaker hoses on, soak, and then leave. We don't want anything left unattended. And thanks to the Village of McFarland, they were actually the ones who put it in, and they keep it maintained for us. They put a brand new one in for us next to the Food Pantry Plot this year because it was quite a distance to run the hose. So they were kind enough to come in and put a brand new one in for us. So it's very convenient. We pay for the water. That's part of where the fees for the plot go. But they are. It's super convenient, very nice not to have to haul buckets of water. We do ask that you don't drink the water. And we also ask that no dogs are allowed. It's just a sanitary safety thing. We don't, everybody loves their dogs. They walk their dogs past, but we don't want them accidentally going in someone's plot or something like that and leaving something behind. We do obviously utilize the library in the center. We don't have any bathrooms at the garden, so these are available to use when they're open, obviously. We do not allow any chemicals. We are an organic garden. No pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers. We try and keep the treated wood. It's just easier that way. We just ask that people don't use those things. And I feel better about eating things. And I think most people do. Just an example, no Miracle-Gro soil, no preen, things like that. We don't want to use it. We encourage organic plants. West Star Gardens here is great. They're an organic garden. We recommend going out there and purchasing their products. Seven's another thing used to pesticide that we don't want to use out in the garden. We do some education, and a lot of people share their own remedies on how to take care of the nasty bugs, the hand picking, the trapping, the soap and water, anything that's not involving chemicals. Please no Roundup. We don't use that. We encourage mulching and cover crops, and it does say horticulture grade vinegar. That's interesting. I don't know that I read that. There are products that can be used in our garden that we ask that they have an OMRI list that they're listed clearly on the bottle. I, for example, use one that I order on Amazon. It's Omri. It for potato beetles. Works great. I use it once. I feel good about using it because I know it's got this rating and it's used for organic. We encourage cover crops. So if you were ever to walk through the garden and just see something in a plot that looks like four-leaf clover or things like that, when we're not using, maybe a plot's not being used or someone has harvested something and they want to keep the weeds down, we highly recommend cover crop. We've used it a lot more in the last few years. Towards the end of the season, somebody's done, but there's still some growing season left. We've, with the gardener, put in that cover crop. I did it on a plot that we used for potatoes last year. Put that in late. I was at the garden the other day. It has died back. It looks great. There's no thistles that I can see, in the plot. So great option. We have tillers at the garden that are available to use. We have, I believe, 3 of them now. One's a beast, but it works really well. So we have tillers. There obviously is tools to use without the tillers. We have a sign up every spring if someone needs help with the tillers. We have a sign up and people who volunteer who can help, if you need your plot tilled but you're not able to do it yourself. We love mulch. We have straw and marsh hay delivered every year. You do have to purchase it, but it's very reasonable. On our opening day, we deliver to your spot if you have ordered any of it, but we highly recommend that everyone use it. It helps a lot. It eventually goes back into the soil and helps with the nutrients. A lot of people, if you went through the garden, you'd notice they have fences, obviously, to help with the critters. It helps a lot with the bunnies. It does not help with the deer. Several of us lost several things for the deer in the middle of the night last year at the garden. I was, as I said, I was there the other day, and I had a very large deer tracks through the one plot, I noticed. So they're still around. Some other people incorporate a lot of other devices to try and keep the critters away. One of our gentlemen uses the CD discs, I think, quite successfully, to be honest. We don't want to use any poisons, mothballs, introduce predators. We try and coexist. Keep our stuff safe so we can actually harvest it, but we don't want anything that might potentially harm it. Something that we don't want. We have a very large weed pile in the back, so obviously they're inevitable. We ask that people keep their weeds to less than 25% of their plot. The village helps us take care of that. It's there, like I said, we have a small one up by the raised beds that people can put their weeds and their compost in. And then we have a large one at the back, and the village helps us take care of that a couple times a year. We have a Garden of the Week award that we introduced a couple years ago for just somebody who's done a really nice job in their garden. We've had nominations and from our leaders and from other gardeners, so you get a little sign in your plot for the week, which is nice. We all like to be recognized. So that's kind of our garden area. So part of what this talk is today was about retirement and what you can do in retirement. I'm fortunate to be retired, and so I am a prime example of this. This takes a good deal of my time during the summer. I'm not complaining. I actually just purchased a T-shirt that said, gardening because murder is wrong. I've found several very clever ones that I now get to wear to the garden all summer long. No, as I mentioned, no one is paid at the garden. It's all volunteer. As we said, we have a garden plot. Each garden plot, one person, two person, a whole family. We ask that per plot you you contribute 6 hours of volunteer time each summer, over the summer. Could, April to October. So in a grand scheme, it's really not a lot. We have lots of examples, garden monitoring, work days. And we have a leadership team. If you want to help lead, we'll take you. You don't need to have anything special, just willingness to, bring good ideas and work and be friendly. And I found this, one of our leaders, garden leaders, had posted this, and I thought it was really, really interesting. Again, especially for this sort of what we're doing here today, especially the senior centers, the schools, the parks, the veterans, just how they all can, it's amazing to me. When I saw this, I was like, oh my, things you don't think about. So I won't linger on this too long, but really, 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 really interesting and really, really true. Our monitoring is for a week. We have a sign-up sheet, so you can kind of schedule around. You can earn 2 hours per week for the commitment. There's watering, some of the common areas. We, check for hoses and water running and things like that. We do have, it says mow, trim throughout the garden. We've got have had a great relationship with the church that they have taken care of mowing our big areas. I know there was some uncertainty this last winter as their gentleman was retiring, but we have found out that they are getting someone else, and they're willing to keep helping us. But we do have a couple mowers that are there, and we ask people to sign up to mow if needed or trim around some of the common areas. And we've really had no problem. People are great volunteering and helping out, and it's on your own time. We're not asking you to go out there at noon on a Tuesday when it's hot, just when you can. Here's our map again, the shared spaces, and I want to talk about those a little bit more, just in the capacity, again, of volunteering, if you have the time. Obviously, if you're retired, is perfect. We have the perennial flower garden, and we are looking for people who want to help. Our fabulous volunteers that we've had several years in a row need to start stepping back a little bit, and but they're happy to train, and it's usually a couple times a summer, go out and weed and kind of take care of those areas. They get big and beautiful, and they've done a great job of it. It's my plot actually is right next to one of those, and I enjoy that. Same thing with the raspberries. We have a really nice raspberry bed and rhubarb bed that a couple of our volunteers take care of, and everyone helps. But they're always looking for volunteers as well. It's a big job in the spring. We do weeding and putting mulch down and cardboard and things like that, and kind of maintaining. So again, we're always looking for volunteers. Here's another shared area, our 4-H youth group area. These pictures are from a few years ago, so I apologize. I've been informed that these children are now adults. But they do a great job. Especially last year, I loved their bean contraption that they had going, and they grew potatoes, and they dug them out and donated them to the food pantry, and it was really a nice space. We have our herb gardens. You can see 2 of them here, 2 raised beds. We actually do have another one now, and they've been reconfigured a little bit. We have a great volunteer, Bob Voss, is in charge of those. And he's got supplies in our shed, and you can go clip some basil if you want them. He's got bags and clippers and stuff, and so our gardeners are able to go in and select any of those herbs that they might need for cooking, and it's a big hit. It's very nice. Slight mention of our pergola, who was put together by an Eagle Scout a few years ago, him and his family, and some volunteers, which is great. We've got a sunshade now, so it's really nice to sit out there. Another one of our shared areas, I guess near and dear to my heart, is the Ron Dennis Pantry Garden. We are fortunate enough to have a 20 by 40 plot that's been maintained by volunteers almost since the beginning. Obviously, it was started by Ron. We've had gentleman and his daughter took it over for several years. They did a great job, and obviously lots of help. So this is an older picture. This was one from last year. In order to kind of control things, we put in some raised beds. But we have volunteers who help. I had a great group last year. I'm skipping. What happens is everything that grows here goes to the McFarland Food Pantry. They have their day on Monday, so come Monday morning, I'm usually there picking things, and then we actually also have a cooler in our shed where people who, I grew too many tomatoes, I grew too many peppers, they can put in there, and all of that gets taken to the food pantry, primarily on Mondays. And as I said, I had a great group of volunteers last year when I wasn't able to do it, when I was out of town, that they pitched in and were able to help get that delivered. Again, this one's near and dear to my heart, so I know, as Katie mentioned, we've done thousands of pounds. I know probably at least 1,500 last year. I know we had almost 1,200 before the squash and that came last year. And of course, that's nice and heavy, so that gives us some pounds. We take our donations from our gardeners, as I mentioned. We ask that, anything that you wouldn't eat, nobody else probably wants to, but we're happy to take them. And they can be put in the shed, and everything goes over to the garden or to the pantry. We grow everything. I've done things that I've not grown before, and it's been fun. So one of our, for instance, and I have never grown it, but one of our, we had several bags of it through the summer, was okra last year. That was interesting. I've not ever grown okra. Approximately 1,500 pounds a year. Just a few pictures I took, cucumbers and cabbage and things like that. Again, I'm a little biased, so I threw some extra pictures in there. We got some beautiful veggies. Most of these came from West Star, which, like I said, has been a great partner with ours. I had the random 12-foot sunflower in the pot last year, which was great because the birds love it. I left it as long as I could. Some of the potatoes. We have also had several people, like I said, we did an extra plot with potatoes. Bob Voss and his grandson did carrots and onions the last few years and some potatoes. So we wouldn't get anywhere near the donations that we have if our gardeners weren't helping and donating as well. And this was our little shared space that we had several volunteers come together. We wanted to utilize this space that had been the school garden. So we had a donation of several different kinds of squash and some pumpkin seeds. So we went in and cleaned everything up and mulched it. So we had a great harvest of pumpkins and squash last year. We allowed our gardeners to take what they wanted. We started with one each so we could share, and then quite a bit of it went to the food pantry. Again, volunteering theme. We have work days. We have an opening day. We have a closing day. We've had groups come in. You can see with the garden shed, that was a group that I think came in. Some of them, somebody they worked with, some company, and they came in and had a volunteer day. Always something to do. We are building a new shed this year, so we're going to need some help with that. You can join a committee. Our youth groups, we have a gentleman who takes care of our tools. Always, there's always, if you have a niche, or a specialty that you could bring to the garden, we'd love that. We have our perennial gardens, as I mentioned, our Fix-It team, and not so much these last years, but we're really, really hoping to get back into some events. We used to have some really nice, everybody bring something to pass, or bring something from your garden, or just somebody come play music in the garden, just impromptu, no fees, no anything like that. I personally love walking through the garden in the evening, checking things out. It's very relaxing. It's as long as there's no mosquitoes, but and we're always looking for Girl Scouts. Like I said, our Eagle Scout, our 4-H, the Bible camp, put in the wood chips one year. Girls on the Run did flowers. If you have something that you feel that you'd really like to give to the garden, as far as a project or just working and things like that, we love ideas. We love expanding on those. We have, as I mentioned, a garden leadership team. Once the season starts, we always open the season with Community Service Day, and we always have great volunteers that come in and help in addition. Our information is all in the shed. If you ever walk through the garden and wonder, hey, I want to do this, I wonder about this, our information is always in there, and on the website, which I'll get to at the end. We've obviously, I kept this picture. I think this is a little older. These kids are probably all grown up too. But multi-generational. We have 20, early 20s just out of college. We have young families. We have older people. We have retirees. We have everyone. And that's what makes it work. Everyone's friendly. Everyone helps each other out. Just real quick, some new projects. We are getting a new shed for where we keep our wheelbarrows and our straw. We're working with the high school tech ed classes and Mr. Ray, and we're going to get a kit, and they're going to put that together, and the village is going to help us out by getting that prepped. So again, community helping everybody out. We're exploring some fundraising potentially, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, to help people out who may need it. Because it is all volunteer, things get old and things need to be replaced. We've got some art, like I noticed when I was there, our pantry garden, the fence is getting a little beat up. So we're considering some fundraising. And then we do have, a donation option if someone feels that, they want to donate. We have the Community Garden Facebook page. If you have Facebook, which a lot of people do, if you just look for McFarland Community Garden, it comes up. We have a great communications volunteer. She's been posting some wonderful things. Check it out. Couple sites. If you do go, we have our website, McFarlandCommunityGarden.org. And if you go out there or the Facebook page, we have our sign up Genius still up. We still have some plots left. We have a full plot and we have a few half plots last I knew, and actually one of the raised beds available. And then I just put a few pictures. We had some gardeners last year that had some amazing zinnia patches. And I was very, very happy to see the amount of monarchs out there last year. I had one group where there must have been 6 monarchs at one spot. So, and that is all I have today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.